What's up, guys? Wiser here, and I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on the Money in the Bank ladder match that began the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And this one, hopefully I could do this within 5 to 7 minutes, because everybody is, well, not everybody, tons of people, or majority of people, are up in arms about the winner of the Money in the Bank match. Oh man. So let me say this real quick. This is just a review for this particular match. I am still going to do a live stream after the pay-per-view, but I just wanted to get my thoughts out about this because my Twitter is on fire and we're like 3 matches in now. So if you guys haven't seen it yet, spoiler alert. Well, you see the thumbnail in the picture. So Sheamus won. And everybody had their bets on either Roman Reigns, Kofi Kingston, or possibly Neville. Those were like the top guys that people wanted to win. Odds makers had it as Reigns versus the field. And so I'm guessing that Neville was the dark horse, Reigns was the favorite, and Kofi was the possibility. And Kofi being a possibility is all because of the whole New Day shtick and what they could do with that. Now, I'm going to tell you why, to me, it makes perfect sense that Sheamus won above all else. Now, first things first, Randy Orton. It's not going to happen. He's already done this thing. You know, he's there to pretty much put the younger talent over at this point and to provide name value for the match. Kane. They need a big guy that's going to do the big spots. Or the powerhouse. He really didn't do much of that, but whatever. So that was his job. He's not going to win. Then we had Ziggler. Ziggler just no. Just no. He was there, I guess, to make some people happy, I guess, but no. They're not putting any investment into Ziggler. So I need you guys to go on ahead and accept that fact that they're not putting anything into him. Then we have Neville, Reigns, and Kofi. I don't think I'm missing anyone. Oh, and Sheamus, the actual winner. So let me tackle Neville first. There's no way you can have Neville win this match because they're still trying to establish him. They never really established him as a guy that can contend for main event status. So to me, it wouldn't really make much sense to just shoehorn him in there like immediately. Also, the top level or the main event picture is filled with baby faces. When Brock comes back, Brock's going to be a baby face as well. It's filled with baby faces. So that doesn't really leave much room for Neville. Then let's talk about let's talk about Kofi. So, you know, people were saying, man, if you needed a heel to win, why not just have Kofi in a New Day? I get you. I understand you, and I'm completely on board with you because I had it as though, you know, if Reigns isn't winning, I got Kofi. Because it makes sense, but it makes sense as a gag. And it makes sense if you want it to be funny. You know, because you could do tons and tons of things with New Day. You could have all of New Day carrying briefcases. You could have segments where, let me move my phone. You could have segments where New Day is doing this whole thing in the back with the briefcases and the milk and the pinkies, and New Day, like, they would be extremely out of control with these briefcases. But beyond that, what more do you have for them to do? You know, who cashes in? Kofi, Big E, Xavier Woods. None of these guys, like, you're not going to get credibility if you have Kofi win and challenge for the world title. Now, granted, he does have a match coming up against Brock, and people were saying, hey, maybe that could be the reason why Kofi will win this thing, because he will look credible if you send him up against Brock in Japan. But that's just next month. What about going forward? And let me go on ahead and take care of Reigns next. Reigns is not a guy that needs the briefcase for the title shot. Reigns is a made man. He can get the title shot whenever the hell he wants. He's already penciled into this whole, like, he's kind of in this circle between him, Ambrose, and Seth. He's in that main event picture. So he doesn't necessarily need the briefcase in order to get a shot. Now, people wanted him to have this briefcase just for the sole purpose of turning heel on Dean Ambrose. And I've been saying since the start, I don't see that happening. They want Reigns to be a babyface going forward. They want him to be the face of the company. And right now, guys are starting to, like I said this months ago, ever since he lost at WrestleMania, the crowd, little by little, has been getting behind him. So they see that it's whatever they're doing is working. They stop with the little kiddie promos. They stop putting him up against Big Show. They still need to give him a variety of opponents, but they started going in the right direction with Reigns. So why turn him heel now? You see, now if this was before WrestleMania and you had this whole thing right here going on, this little love triangle, yes, you can put him in there and have him turn heel on Dean, have him turn heel on whoever, because at that time it would make sense. The timing was perfect, but they didn't pull the trigger, just like with Cena. They just never decided to pull the trigger, even though the times were right. They never did it. Look at Reigns. When the time was right, they didn't do it. And now that the time is not right, they damn sure ain't gonna do it. So it doesn't make sense for them to do that. You got plenty of time, and if you want to have these three in a match at SummerSlam or extend it to WrestleMania, you gotta give them time. If you have Reigns win this thing tonight and cash in and turn heel and do all of this crazy stuff, what are you gonna have to do later? You've already created the story, gave the story some meat, and ended the story within a month. You have to give it time. We are currently in a session, or we're in an era where people just want things so fast. And that's what's wrong with the wrestling business today, is that you're not giving things time to build. You got to give things time to build. So if we go with the result that everybody wanted, which is have Reigns win the briefcase, have him turn heel, cash in on Dean. No, wait a goddamn minute. Let this shit build. Let Dean really trust this guy. Let the crowd really get invested, and then have Reigns, if you do turn him, you turn him when no one expects it, not when everyone expects it. It doesn't make sense. Which leads me to the last person. And if you've been paying attention to what I've been saying, I shouldn't even have to explain why Sheamus makes perfect sense to win this thing. But I'll explain it anyway. You have time. Reigns is a made man. He could get the title whenever he wants. Sheamus does not. At the top of the main event card, you are packed full of baby faces. You need more heels. Right now, in the company, Kevin Owens is being pegged to be the number 2 heel right under Seth. As of right now. Right now, Kevin Owens is the top heel under Seth. Think about that. He just got there last week, and he's already top heel. That should tell you that more heels are needed at the top level. So, how about a guy that you just don't like? How about a guy whose look you don't like? You don't like the way he wrestles. You don't like the way he looks. You don't like his character. You don't like his hair. You just don't like him, right? You know who that kind of worked for? Even though no one liked him? And even to this day, and I'm watching the match now, even to this day, no one likes him. The Miz. No one likes him. You're not supposed to like him. You are supposed to personally dislike him. You are supposed to hate the heel. That's the point. I don't see how this can be argued or debated. You're not supposed to like him. Whatever they do with his character, whether it's his hair, the way he talks, the way he wrestles, they do these things to establish what the heel is. So you can disagree with me all you want, but it goes and it proves the point of him being a heel works. Whatever it is that they have him doing works. Here, I'll go one step further. Back when Sheamus first came in, and he was beating guys like Cena and beating guys like Triple H, and he was a 2-time champion, people were saying that he, at that time, was one of the top heels in the company. That's Sheamus. That's the Sheamus when he was babyface. Everybody was saying they wanted him back as a heel because he did so well as a heel. So, what do? You give him a briefcase and you give him a year. You have plenty of time to establish his credibility as a heel. So let them work. Let it play out. Stop with the knee-jerk reactions and just wait and see what happens. Just wait. Because as wrestling fans, I mean, growing up, I grew up in the 90s. I grew up in the mid-80s. Bruh, I remember having to wait a half a year to a year to see a babyface get his payoff. And heels just run rampant. Storylines took a year to finish or even develop. Hell, you even had as Randy Savage wanting to do a program with Shawn Michaels for 2 years and 2 WrestleManias. It didn't happen, but that's how long-term booking works. So give these guys time to just see what they do with Sheamus. Just give it a shot. Because he's the one that makes the most sense. Can you make a top-level heel out of Kofi Kingston right now? No, that would be treated as a joke. If they want credibility, you have to look at a guy that you could say, man, this guy is an ass kicker. He looks like he can be the guy. He looks credible. He has a look. Let's see what can happen. Other than Kofi, what other heels you have in here that could win? Kane? Fuck no. Orton, who knows what the hell Orton is? There was no other heels in there. And the heel needs to win this thing because you have a year to work with now. And when they feel as though he's ready, when they feel as though they got him at that level, then they could go on ahead and pull the trigger. So, do I know who he's going to take on? No. Do I know who he's going to challenge for the belt? No. Do I know who's going to be the champion at that time? No. I have no idea. And you don't either. So we can't say Seth, we can't say Brock, we can't say Ambrose, we can't say, what's that other boy named, Reigns? We just don't freaking know. And if you pay attention to Damian Sandow, he should have taught you one thing. And that's that Money in the Bank isn't guaranteed.